Fireworks waiting on the edge of the night. Stars over Mossy Creek burning bright. Freedom Bash, come gather round. We're still putting culture in the ground. Raise a jar, raise a glass. Here's to the ones who make things last. No shortcuts here, no borrowed dreams. Just hard work, living in the seams. Turn it loose, strike the spark. Build tomorrow after dark. Freedom to build, freedom to try, freedom to fail and still get it right. Freedom to lie, freedom to build. Pass it along so the whole world knows we're still growing. Tennessee hills and a lab-like glow.
Oops, I forgot to add the stage. All right, testing. Sound on. It looks like it's on. Excellent. Welcome everybody, and those who are joining us. We will be answering y'all's questions today. It looks like it might storm. I don't know. And if it does, we know how that goes sometimes. Sometimes it messes with the connectivity. So, all right. Let's see how everybody's doing today. What's up, Exception? Glad to have you on. Oh, I didn't turn the office lights on. All right, well, we got the grow light. I'm kind of red-purple today. That's the way it's going to be for now. What's up, Fat Bike? Bike Fat? Hey, brother, could you briefly... And hello, Jonathan. Brother, could you briefly share some identifying characteristics of the Gamma Derma martinensis specimen you found in Lost? I missed last week's podcast, specifically the context issue. The main issue is that I couldn't get it back from Aloha Medicinals. I gave it to them with the understanding that it was when Doc Holliday was in charge over there, and we had. Oh, you know what? I bet I have those emails on my personal account. Anyways, I was never able to get that back. I don't remember the identifying characteristics. It was one of those things that Ganoderma martinensis. Yeah, that was it. Not Ganoderma martinique. I always say that because I confuse the two. But so my understanding was that we had to do the DNA to actually get it. So broadly distributed through the tropical and subtropical regions extending the Gulf Coast and southern U.S. states like Texas, Florida, and parts of Tennessee. So it sounds like, isn't that weird? Extending into Gulf states and southern U.S. states like Texas, Florida, and Tennessee. Tennessee is not a Gulf state. We're a landlocked state. We should not be having this, what is a apparently semi-tropical mushroom here. But anyways, it looks like there's actually more information on it. But I gave a culture of it to Aloha Medicinals in exchange for their patty straw mushroom, and then they told me that I didn't have any proof that there was an agreement that I was able to get that back. Well, Doc Holliday had told me that in person, so over the phone, so I didn't have any proof of that, which is why they wouldn't do it. They said that they didn't honor that system anymore, so which really sucks. So as far as identifying characteristics, I mean, if you just look up on Google Ganoderma martinensis, oh my gosh, martinensis. The cap features a shiny varnished crust that turns brown to deep reddish brown or burgundy. The stipe stem usually present, short and stout, characteristically appearing to sink slightly into the pore surface of the cap. Pores are white underneath, bruising brown and handled. Noted in cultivation and literature for distinct, pleasant sourdough bread-like scent. I do remember that. I had a very sourdough-like scent to it, but it also was pretty slow growing compared to almost all the other reishi species I've grown. It was one of the slowest. But it had zero bitterness to it, the strain that we had at least. If not, I don't know if that's a species trait, but it had a lot less of the bitter flavor. Martini sense. That's exactly right. Billy Boy. Is your name Billy Boy Wid or is your name Billy Boywid? I'm always confused. Did you ever grow it out? Yeah, I grew it out plenty. I think it is what everyone. I think it's what is everywhere right now. Since I'm growing out from toothpick clones. The toothpick clones are a great idea. I don't remember, someone mentioned that to me in a comment somewhere, and I was like, oh my gosh, that blows my mind. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that. And it's nice. Oh, excuse me. It's nice for the ones that I can come back to. But what's interesting is that you can also take a cap, collect it, still do a toothpick clone that way. But I really liked the toothpick clones. It's a good way of doing it. They get, and I mean, I don't know where you're at, Jonathan, but they are, it was like we found one, and then like 4 or 5 other people found one at the same time around the Knoxville area. So, you know, if you've got it in Florida, or if you're in one of the Gulf states, then you're going to have a pretty good chance of having it. I think, if I look it up here on iNaturalist, one sec. Ganoderma. No results found. Interesting. Well, it's come up with a bunch of them for reishi, but not for the Ganoderma martinensis. Well, I don't know. I was hoping the iNaturalist would have it listed, but I don't see it. So depending on where you're at, martini sense. That'd be like James Bond, right? He's got a martini sense. Flangeworthy. Hi, Andrew. I have a fully colonized bag of chicken of the woods on whole oats. What do I do now? Bury it outside? Take it to bulk? I mean, honestly, I would put it into a sawdust block before burying it. The sawdust is going to hold up a lot better than the grain. You're going to get a lot of bugs that eat up myceliated grain. So if you want to do it outside, you can put it in logs, like pony logs. Pony logs are a really good way of doing it. And then kind of half burying them when they're fully grown in and ready to fruit. Or you can bury sawdust blocks. Chicken of the woods typically grows in fairly quick. So it's one that I've not had a lot of trouble getting to the outside conditions that I'm looking for. The trick with, I mean, like to fruit on indoors is a lot trickier, especially to get good yields with it. I mean, I can get like a 1/4 pound off a 10-pound block. I've been able to get a little bit more than that sometimes, depending on you know, how much I'm able to bulk it up. But even then, it's nothing like what you get, the massive fruitings that you get off logs or outdoors. So yeah, if you can bury them in your garden under some shady spots or something like that, like some sawdust blocks or pony logs, that's a really good way to go. I like it like a 4-foot log, and I need to take some photos of mine, but like you can take a 4-foot log, plug it with chicken of the woods, or you can do the kerf cuts, and then just pack that with sawdust and put the kerf back in, the piece that you've cut out. And then you can bury it, and you can bury it like this, where, you know, about half the log is underground and the other half is standing up. Or you can, one of my favorite ways is to lay it down and then bury it about halfway through, right? And it gives it plenty of ground contact, plenty of moisture, all of that. That's probably one of my favorite ways to do it, is to lay it down horizontally and let it fruit all along the surface. Central Alabama, I have ruled out Cecil and Curtseye. Curtseye is one that's going to be common in your area for sure. Cecil, I think, as well. I don't know Central Alabama the way I would the Appalachian Spine here, like the South Central Appalachia. But yeah, I mean, both of those seem like they'd be similar to where you're at. I don't know that I could rule out Curtseye for a lot of things, but it's Curtisai is probably my favorite reishi to grow. It's one of the fastest strains out there, or species out there. It is consistently quick. And the golden antler reishi that we grow is a Curtisai, and it is easily the fastest reishi strain I've ever seen, from inoculation to harvest in about 45 days. So, hello there, Sinsolus. It made my work van smell like old bread. Lol. Okay, yeah. So that sounds like the Martinsons. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah. I mean, because I've not come across another reishi that really has that sourdoughy, bready smell to it the way that one does, and it's pretty consistent. And I wonder if there's some sort of polyphenol or some other aromatic that it is producing that makes it smell that way. Bee wares. Oh, is you? Oh my gosh, guys! I am so sleepy today. I apologize. I was going to ask if you sell wares from bees. Do you sell honey? No, just kidding. I found a winter oyster and took a spore print a couple of years ago, eastern North Carolina. I'm spawning it to agar right now. Do you receive samples like this for the mycologium? I absolutely do. Yeah. If you get your oyster to grow, I'm always happy, especially if you can give me the information of where it was found and that kind of stuff. I really, really do love getting all these new strains in. Spore prints. People send me spore prints all the time. So if there's something that they don't feel safe, and I will say spore prints are a lot cheaper to ship to me, and spore prints are just as useful to me as the. Not sure if my Facebook stream is live. It looks like it is. Okay. There's something going on with my stream. I don't know what it is. Are you guys able to hear me just fine? Is it working okay? It seems to me like there's something going on with the stream. Do what?
Seems like they've been responding to you fine.
Well, they were, but not past, like, something. I don't know. The streams are acted funny within the past minute. Uh-oh. Keeps buffering here. Me too. I didn't get a notification for this one. Buffering bad. Interesting. There's not really much I can do about that right now without restarting the whole thing. Tried LTE and Wi-Fi and still buffering. Interesting. But you guys can hear me just fine? That's. I really wonder if it's the weather, because every time these storms start to roll in, it's like we start to get issues. Well, let me know if it evens out or gets fixed, but boy, oh my gosh, yeah, it's dropping my numbers like crazy. Well, whatever. People can watch it after. So as far as LC to bulk, a lot of it depends on your species, your strain training, as we call it. You'll have your substrate plays a big part in this. So there's a lot of different factors, but also the health of your liquid culture. So we found out that the nutrients that go into your liquid culture matter more to liquid culture to bulk leap off than almost anything else we've come across. It's not you that's causing it. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I was just playing with you. But yeah, so poor Splotchy. But there's a lot of factors that go into it, and it does take. Some things just take, right? Like I found that like enoki just takes from liquid culture to bulk almost every time, almost never a problem. But oysters can be a little bit finicky, which is weird because they're typically more aggressive than anything. And then there are other species and especially strains. Like I was saying, strain training plays a big part in it. And I'm starting to breed towards. I've got some strains where I've started to breed towards liquid culture to bulk. Those are not actually going to be offered in my general offerings, though. That is something that we're using in house. So we've got plans for those. But there is a lot of that. Now that said, I mean we do lease strains out that are the ones that are not typically on our website. We do some leasing plans and things like that. So, but there's a combination. But the main is going to be your substrate matters, your strain species matters, your liquid culture nutrition matters, and your timing matters. And those 4 things play a huge part in whether or not. I actually found that it doesn't make a difference to me whether I super pasteurize or sterilize. I don't have to always sterilize stuff. So, yeah, we just, those 4. So yeah. Anyways, I was telling you guys about the affiliate program. We've had that. Our first affiliate that signed up has already had a couple of sales at least I've seen. So that's pretty cool to see. I'm really happy with this affiliate program. So, hopefully I'll be able to do it when we get the plants and the fish and stuff up online as well. But we have a lot of plant tissue culture stuff in the works over there. So I've got a lot of cultures I'm plating out. I've got some mycorrhizal strains that I'm going to be playing with those. So I'm actually trying to learn plant tissue culture of woody material, specifically because it's the tree species and the shrub species that tend to do all that. Hey, buddy, you up here? You always know when I'm on stream, don't you? There you go. You can sit with me. I really wish you would go in my beard. Thank you. Just a good boy. So anyways, we have the plant tissue culture cups. I've started doing a lot of petri dishes and stuff with them, and I'm finding I really like that for the mass plating, because it's a lot cheaper than the cups and a lot easier than the cups. And then we go from there to the cups after I make sure that something is clean. And then the plan with this is to bring it back into some sort of sterile media or substrate and bring the mycorrhizal mushrooms to the plant partners. So I've got a lot of cloning that I need to do this fall, and there's some other stuff that we've been working on trying to get in. And I have confirmed, so we have an albino gold. It was found here wild, and the albino gold oyster, I have confirmed that there is indeed clean growth coming off of the inoculant that I pulled off of the clonal material. So that's super cool, because very soon I might be able to show you guys some photos of an albino golden oyster growing in our little grow tent out there, and that'll be super cool. My gosh, Dad, you are not making this easy. You're just like dead weight. Completely dead weight. Oh gosh, he is like slowly sliding down, and every time I try to pick him back up, he just sinks further. But oh, sorry, hold on. I've done a few runs of lion's mane on mesquite sawdust, and I'm planning on getting other spices of gourmet mushrooms to start selling. Which spices would you recommend for your species? To start selling, which species would you recommend from your gene bank? I'm from MX. What is MX? Oh, sorry, bud. I need you to stop for a second. Okay, there we go. No, seriously, man. Unless you want to fall on the floor. So, I mean, I've got a lot of species and strains, and if you're wanting to do lion's mane, or are you talking about like you want to do oysters and... So oysters are going to be pretty much your most adaptable stuff to substrate. That's going to be the primary one. And as far as like species, I wouldn't be too concerned with that, but any of the brown oysters are probably going to be a little more aggressive than others. Pink oysters are pretty aggressive. But I mean, even the blue oysters and the white oysters are going to be fairly aggressive and fairly quick. You are still, like, I'm just going to have to let you go, bud, because you're making this very difficult. I don't know why you're sliding down like that. But that, I mean, like if you're wanting to sell fresh mushrooms, oysters are almost always the easiest one to start with. Lion's mane's pretty good second, but I think chestnuts tend to be a really solid mushroom to sell. Chestnuts have that kind of a traditional toadstool look, while still being very unique looking, and they tend to have a very strong flavor. I personally don't. I have like a sensitivity to them or something like that. Like I don't know what it is, because typically you don't get a sensitivity to a specific mushroom, but for some reason when I eat that one, I get bumps on my lips and a little bit of allergen. Other people, I've never met anyone else that does with chestnuts, so I just don't do a lot of work with them because I tend to have that sensitivity. But the chestnut strain that we have is a very good chestnut strain, and it's been a very popular mushroom for people to grow and sell. I mean, I've got people that I think Josiah Benoxel, I think I know he does chestnuts every week, and I don't know how many he does. Probably a couple 100 pounds a week is my guess. But I mean, anything that we've got is going to be pretty worthwhile. Enoki's one of my favorites, but you need cool weather for that. And as far as like, I've never tried on mesquite sawdust, but if lion's mane will grow on it, I'll say oysters will probably grow on it. That would be my best guess. Have you ever tried sourcing sawdust from local sawmills? I mean, a little bit, and the problem with that, I mean, it's nice because it's free, but the thing that you guys have heard me say before is that free is never free. So, and because it's free, it'll cost you time. So, like last night, we had someone, we started these Wednesday night dinners, and I'm starting to slowly invite, more and more people to come do these with us. But as we do the Wednesday night dinners, I had someone stop in for the first time last night and offer us, she's like, hey, I've got a lot of pine needles, it falls down in the fall, if you ever need those. I was like, cool, if you ever bring them to me, I will totally take them. She went, okay, that's the trick, huh? And I was like, that's the trick, because I don't have the time to go get them. And it is easier for me to order in and pay for pellets, process them into mushrooms, and then take the waste and turn that into soil than it is to use any free material, because the free material usually requires me to go get it, or me to pay someone to go get it, and then it needs all kinds of for the sawmill stuff, you have moisture content testing that has to be added to it almost every single run, and you have a larger logistics problem with the handling of it situation. So you've got to store this raw sawdust. It could be just a pile outside, but now your moisture content testing's got to be done even more so, because the center of the pile is not going to be the same moisture content as the outside of the pile, because rain does not necessarily just penetrate deeply. But also, you've got to run through that pile pretty quick, or it's going to start having all kinds of mold. And every time I move my hand, he moves his leg like he thinks I'm going to pet him or something. What was that? Your ears flew back. So, he looks like he's sleeping like the dead. Anyways, your moisture content testing is going to be way more important at that point, and you're going to have the now you got to move that to whatever bagging situation you're going to do, right? Then you're going to have a bagger that'll process it unless you're hand scooping. So small amounts, like if you're doing a hobby scale, I don't see a problem with it. But if you're talking like, oh man, I gotta go get this, or have a dump truck deliver it. Wood chips are easier, in my opinion, than sawdust, but it's still not my favorite way. I would rather just it's like $4 for a 40-pound bag of sawdust. A 40-pound bag of sawdust, you're gonna get. Let's see, what would that be? So let's just say at 2 pounds of sawdust per bag. You're going to have 20 10-pound bags, and then you're going to supplement that with a couple pounds of soy if you're doing a 50-50 mix, right? So, and then 20 bags is going to produce you about 3 pounds of mushrooms each, so you're going to get 60 pounds out of a 20-pound bag of sawdust, and out of a 40-pound bag of sawdust and about 40 pounds of soy hulls. So by the time you're talking there, that's like $13 of biomass that's turned into let's see, so you're talking $480 worth of mushrooms. So that kind of increase is just, it's absolutely worth the ease of logistics. and then all of a sudden the free material just doesn't seem that appealing after that, right? Because your labor is the most important and the hardest to replace. Mexico, gotcha. Okay, then you're gonna want to stick with warmer weather stuff. We've got great pink oyster strains. We've got even better pink oyster strains in the works. The brown oysters are what I would suggest. So the Mossy Creek oyster and the Old Road oyster and the Pathfinder. All three of those are the ones that I would really recommend. Have you tried that? I have, but only for fish food making. So I've been going out there and pulling like a zola and duckweed and stuff like that, and then we've been making it into a dough-like texture and then trying it as a pelletizer. It definitely is a skill, and this pelletizer is probably not the best pelletizer anyways, just because it's a tabletop small one. But yeah, it's been fun to play with. Oh. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, Oak. Plum. Have you ever breaded and fried a pink oyster? I've had fried Carmenian buttons. I have never done that with pink oyster, actually. I would like to. I've got some pinks. You're done. I've got some pink oysters coming out soon that in fact, I think that is a pink oyster bag right there. If I remember correctly, it's at least on that rack. There's like 4 or 5 pinks right now growing out, and I have a cast iron wok, and so my plan is to like take that cast iron wok and dice up a couple onions, throw some olive oil in there, and just really get that moving and cook it out there in the smoker and get it really nice and hot. So I bet it would be good. I bet pink oyster would be really good. So you can tell the pup is pretty comfortable in that spot. Yeah, he likes to be held like a baby. Hey, stop chewing. But every summer he gets eczema and his back. He'll chew right there on his back. We've been taking him to the lake and letting him swim and stuff, and that seems to have helped this year. Actually, the swimming has helped a lot, I feel like. But he is definitely, he's a baby dog. He's a baby dog, even though he's an adult. Flange says, do you or have you ever used a soil moisture tester? Is field capacity hand testing good enough? I mean, I hate to say yay or nay. So it depends on who you are, I feel like, more than it is that some people are going to be more comfortable with, and their system is going to handle the fluctuation better, and then some people like to be really precise. So the question is, how precise do you want to be? I mean, the truth is that if you mess up your moisture content a little bit and it's a little too dry or it's a little too wet, most of the time you're still going to be in a net positive. But if you want to fully optimize, then you're going to want to do a full-on, like even the soil moisture testers are not going to test perfectly. And the best way is to weigh out 100 grams of your sawdust, microwave it, weigh it, microwave it, weigh it, microwave, weigh it. When it stops losing weight, you then calculate out how much water weight it lost and then what your total water content is, and then you know how much water to add, or how much dry material to add, that kind of thing. And you can get really, really into the nitty gritty. I'm a send it kind of guy, so I like to set up the bagger, and let's say we're running the bagger and everything looks great, but all of a sudden a bag comes in and it's like too wet. I don't correct that bag. I just send it, correct the bagger for the next set of bags, or for, like we'll stop if something's going wrong, but I fix the bagger and I don't sit there and try to make that bag perfect. I just send it, I throw some, I cook it, I send some spawn in it, and I treat it like normal after that, even though I know it might have too much liquid or too little, and it's cheaper just to produce another bag or two than it is to fix that bag. Anytime you got to stop and go outside your system, but that's the biggest thing is, the answer is really, Flange, it depends. If you want to optimize, the hand test is not going to be good enough. But if you're comfortable with that, then that's definitely, I know people who run on that. I don't think it's a wrong thing. I'm more worried that I get my numbers. I want to optimize my aggregate rather than optimizing every portion of my op. I have found that people who go in and they're like, I'm going to go, I'm going to be the most efficient at every single step, ends up missing the whole picture and usually ends up making a completely inefficient nightmare. This like spider webbed like set of variables that each one has to be the most efficient, but then they actually drag your system down. And so it just kind of depends, man, how you set your system up. I like to have a lot of freedom and flexibility. And so I tend to do things the way I do. Wiliest, KBPF1 is a great eating mushroom. Started selling it over the past weekend and have a number of people asking when they can get more. I've been calling it Queen Blue. that's hilarious. That's very cool. Yeah, KBPF1 is easily one of the best mushroom strains I've ever come across when it comes to blue oysters. That's a King Blue and Pathfinder cross, and it's the first one I pulled out of that series. And it is a beautiful mushroom in particular for the stem. So Wiley, I really enjoy hearing that. I'm glad that you like it because it's one of my favorite babies at this point. I feel like it's better than King Blue. Isn't the corn fungus popular in Mexico? Yeah, that's Huitlacoche, I think, also known as corn smut. And it is actually way easier to grow than people think it is. I've actually got a bunch right now. I need to call Paul and talk to him about whether or not he still wants that LC. So, oh, here we go. Yeah, Oak says, yeah, Huitlacoche is delicious. I think it's called corn smut or south or something like that, and then corn smut. Yeah, it is called corn smut here, and it's supposed to be delicious. I think I've had it once, but I can't even remember what it tastes like. But I've heard it called corn truffles. I've heard it called all kinds of stuff. So I will say, when you research it using ChatGPT, if you use Huitlacoche, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't say it. Huitlacoche is completely threw me off. I can't look at hit my ADHD really bad. If you use that when you're talking to like ChatGPT or Gemini, I found that it works smooth. But if you call it corn smut and you start asking how to grow corn smut, I start getting all these biological safety flags, like biological safety risk flags, in my conversations. And so just be aware that you might be getting put on a bioterrorism watch list or something like that if you're, looking it up. They may be thinking, he's wanting to ruin the corn crop in America or something like that. I don't know. Have you tried using AI to build an app that can optimize your operations? I haven't. No, I haven't tried that. That's not really my calling, but it's also, like, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting, and as you guys know, that I am not anti-AI the way a lot of people are. But I also, I don't know that I would trust the AI yet to be able to make intelligent decisions on every single piece. So I would rather it kind of like inform me and then go back to it. Unless, I don't know, like, are you talking about like controlling humidifiers and, because that would actually be interesting if you could track data and it would notice trends. Things work better, blah, 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 this way, and then it was able to report that to you. That would be very, very interesting. As long as it's not making big major changes without your permission or your input being part of it. That was my phone, by the way, that ding, not your holes. Hey, Zero, KBPF1 is better than King Blue in what ways? I think it's just less blotch prone. I feel like it's a little firmer in texture. It's about the same aggressiveness and productive quality, but I just feel like it's got a slightly meatier texture, and the lack of, not saying that it's completely blotch resistant, it's not blotch immune, but the blotch resistance adds up a lot, because that's where a lot of people have a problem with King Blue, is that King Blue is so overly productive that even if it does blotch out occasionally, People are like, I usually get more mushrooms per square foot, but KBPF1 just seems like it does that a little bit better. The mushrooms tend to be slightly on the smaller side. Like they're a little bit smaller than King Blue, but they're denser, so they tend to be heavier, which actually works out just fine if you're selling by weight. Glass straw, 99.88. I had some on my sweet corn and tried some. It was okay, I guess. Wasn't sure how to prepare it. I've seen a lot of people use it in a few different ways. The one that I've seen the most has been in some form of taco, and I'm pretty sure that's how I tried it. But again, I just really don't remember. I want to eat some more big time, but I think most people that grow corn around here occasionally see the occasional ear or whatever, in particular on sweet corn, that has that. But it's supposed to be fairly easy to get corn. I've seen people injecting ears of corn. The easiest way to do it is to get it to where it produces the sporidia, which is the black gooey phase on agar. Take that and add it to a water sort, add it to some sort of sterile water in like a backpack sprayer or pesticide sprayer, and then spray the tassels when the corn starts producing the silks. Spray the silks, the ends of the silk, and that will the sporidia land on that, and then they grow through and down the germ tube, and then they yank out the corn DNA, basically put their own DNA in there, and there it goes. The corn starts producing the fungal DNA for them. I've seen corn fungus used in savory pastry and fried. I'm trying to remember the name of the fungus they found that can consume bottles in days instead of years. I can't remember the plastic eating one. I can't remember it either. It's specific forms of plastic like that it can break down pretty easily. There's also certain forms of plastic that can be broken down by superworms, I think. They have like a bacteria in their gut that they can break down polystyrene, I think, which is actually a really cool thing. Like they can eat styrofoam and they render that stuff down into, I guess, safe waste material. So that's pretty neat, I think, that there's an organism that has a microbe, and we could probably isolate that microbe. That might actually be an interesting thing to try to do. Is how do you get that microbe out? Well, you'd have to get a sample of the gut bacteria somehow out of the superworm. So I guess your high school dissection practice would come into play there, right? But I can't remember the name of it either. And it would help break down that plastic waste, which is nice. I still think polypropylene. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on polypropylene still, I believe. But I would need to look that up. I'm not sure if that plastic, that fungus that broke it down. So there's certain types of bacteria and certain types of funguses that break down this material. But it makes sense because plastic is a hydrocarbon, and fungus breaks down hydrocarbons. White rot fungus breaks down hydrocarbons pretty well. So I like Queen Blue. Well, it's a good name. Yeah, that's pretty. I feel like that's a fairly good name. It's the king's daughter there. The new queen. KBA PF1 slices really well. Flavor is excellent and complex. Keeps well. Had some in the fridge for 8 days and they were still good. Well, that's excellent. I know. So we've done King Blue. We had that in there for 14 days or so, and brought it out, and it still looked great. So that's one of the nice things about those strains is that if you pick them young and then get them cold, and put them in a box where they don't lose all their humidity, they seem to do really well for a long time, shelf life wise. Pink oysters, of course, are not that way at all, which is something that I would really like to see worked on. I read an article recently, and they were talking about using the plastic fungus on an industrial scale. I'm not sure if it's environmental impact. I'm not sure of its environmental impact. Yeah, I'm not so sure either. Let's see. Plastic eating fungi. So there's Aspergillus tuberculosis, okay, this is the one that I'm familiar with. Pestalotiopsis microspora, which feed on plastics like polyurethane and polyester. Let's see, that one was found in the Amazon rainforest. It can grow on polyurethane and even in low oxygen environments like deep landfills. So that's pretty cool. Aspergillus was discovered in Pakistani waste landfill, breaks down polyurethane plastics in weeks. That's super cool. Yeah, Parangiodontium album, a marine fungus identified breaking down polyethylene plastics in ocean waters. And Aspergillus terreus, studied by researchers reducing mixed plastic waste significantly over a few months. Fungi release specialized cutting enzymes like latases and esterases into the plastics. These chemicals break down the tight artificial carbon-to-carbon bonds of the plastic. Fungus absorbs the smaller resulting molecules as a carbon energy source, leaving basic organic byproducts. Okay, so yeah, that means it should be clean byproducts. So that's really cool. It sounds like the environmental impact would be a very, very positive one in that case. Ronnie Jacks. I'm so here for others to dissect the superworms. I mean, I would do it. It wouldn't really bother me. It's just not really something. In fact, there may already. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Give me a second. Superworms can break down plastic. Superworms, larvae of the darkening beetle, can eat and survive on a diet of polystyrene, styrofoam, and other plastics by using specific bacteria and enzymes in their guts to break down the material. How the process works. Shredding. The superworms chew and shred the plastic into tiny pieces with their mouths. Digestion. Microorganisms, specialized enzymes inside the worm's gut break down the plastic polymers. Energy. The worms use the plastic for energy and can even gain weight on a strict plastic diet, though it reduces their gut health and diversity over time. Challenges and future goals. Not scalable. Keeping massive live worm populations to process global plastic trash is impractical. I don't actually feel like it would be, but synthetic enzymes. Scientists aim to isolate the specific gut bacteria enzymes to replicate the breakdown process in labs for industrial recycling. I think that would be the way to do it right there. Now, I wonder if there'd be a problem keeping it in, our plastic petri dishes. Would you have to refresh those plates pretty often? It didn't say that they break down polypropylene, so your centrifuge tubes that we use for slants and stuff would probably be really good. I only really had problems with King Blue at warm temps, 75 degrees max. Does that mean KBPF1 will be heat tolerant? I have not fully tested it in the heat. Wiley, do you know what temperatures you were growing it in? That might give us an idea. But I have not tested the top end temperature of KBPF1 yet. I know that it grows well in the range that most of us grow at, but I have not tested that in the high heat yet. And I've not seen anyone else do so. But that would be, it would, seeing as how blotch is one of the high temperature problems, typically, that would be one that I can imagine having better blotch resistance, as long as it fruits good at that temperature. That's the big thing. Okay, Oak says cheese taco or quesadilla, but tastes different from white corn. Really? The corn smut? Ronnie says, I live in an area that no longer recycles because the recycle company that people were paying for years in this area wasn't actually recycling. It's a shame that we make so much excess waste. There's so much corruption out in the world. I just don't understand it. Part of me is wondering how much of this corruption has just been going on behind the scenes and we just didn't know about it. And the internet is kind of helping us reveal that, right? Because the internet makes it easier to reveal all this corruption in a way. It also brings in new forms of corruption. And I'm sure AI will do the same thing, where AI will be used for plenty of corrupt purposes. And that is, I guess, the price of living in a fallen world, is that there is corruption. But I just don't understand why people can't do the right thing. I know it's hard to do the right thing sometimes, but what's life without doing some hard things? I wonder if the superworms make good fishing bait? My understanding is that they do. It's like a larger mealworm, and I know some people that use mealworms for fishing bait. I plan on trying some black soldier fly larvae out here very, very soon. Maybe this evening, if the weather holds up. You know, when I jump off here, I'm probably just like, you know, the creek and the lake is right here, so I may just ride my bike down real quick and drop a line in the water, and I may try some black soldier fly larvae at that point. That would probably be something that a lot of fish don't see on a regular basis. I could be wrong, but I don't know any of the old timers around here that use black soldier fly larvae as bait, and it would be so easy to hook those. And I do wonder, you know, if they'll still wriggle and stuff some when they do that. I don't know. We'll find out. It would be great if we can use mushrooms to be in limited areas just for breaking down the plastics. I mean, I think it would be a great idea to do something like some sort of digester. I mean, and some of the landfills nowadays I know are starting to set up some digester-like components. So, like, our landfill here was taking kitchen scraps for the very longest time, organic stuff, that kind of thing, and they were putting it into a biodigester, and they were producing methane from it, and then they were using that. They had a methane generator, and I don't know if they were just providing their own power or if they were selling it back to the grid or how that was working, but I know that there was some sort of production based on that. And I thought that was cool that at least the food waste was breaking down. I mean, it makes me a little sad because I don't know if they have an easy way of getting that food waste back out to be used again as fertilizer. And that's one of my favorite things about biodigesters is that they produce an energy source and in the form of methane gas, and they produce a fertilizer when they come back out the other end. So I really want to get another biodigester at some point. I've got to wait until finances line up for that again because biodigesters are not the easiest and cheapest things to get and ship. And the last time I got the nicest biodigester that I was able to get from a company where I could just buy it and get it and set it up was from Israel. And there's now, like, we've actually had to stop shipping to Israel because it's been so hard getting packages into Israel now. And I don't have any idea on whether that company is selling them or exporting these things or not. So I'd have to check into all of that stuff. But it would be interesting to take some of the compostable plastics or something like that and run them through. I don't know how oxo-degradable would work in a anaerobic digester like that. Probably not super well. But you could break down, I know we could break down some of the lignous material, so I'm thinking that maybe some of the hydrocarbons could be broken up by the mushrooms the way, I think the hydrocarbons could be, since the mushrooms are able to break down lignin. You know, they have the all the enzymes that would hopefully help break down the plastic, make it available for a biodigester. I mean, we know that plastic can be used as an energy source, as it was talking about a moment ago, so. Used to raise some superworms, still have mealworms going. I don't have mealworms. I have black soldier fly larvae. I have red wigglers, and that's the only bugs I've got right now. I really like the black soldier fly larvae for, like, right now. I actually need to get my digester and split it because it is now full, and it is like a wriggling mass when I open it up. But I don't have the self-harvesting system set up yet, so I'm having to kind of harvest them myself. But I'm about to go out there with some bloody gloves and pull a bunch of these black soldier fly larvae out, put them in a bag, I then freeze them, dehydrate them, and then we grind them up for the fish food. And they're a pretty stout energy source themselves, protein and fats and calcium, plenty of that stuff. Well, hey, Chrissy, welcome, Stormborn. Glad to have you. I don't know if you saw, you had another sale today. That was pretty slick, I thought. Alrighty. Hey guys, I'm going to take a quick break and go get a drink. And we're going to listen to a word from my sponsor while I go grab me a drink. So be right back after I find... Oh, we were talking about the Algaculture anyways.
Imagine a world where the most unique, rare, and powerful mushroom strains are preserved, studied, and shared with growers like you. That's exactly what we're building with the Mycologium, a living archive of fungal biodiversity, sourced from the wild, expanded in the lab, and made available for researchers, growers, and curious minds alike. But here's the best part. You can be a part of it. If you're a bioprospector, a forager, or just someone who loves finding cool mushrooms in the wild, you can send in your samples. If you send me in a wild mushroom and I can successfully clone it, I'll send you back a cleaned up culture of it. If you send me a culture that you've already cleaned up yourself, I'll send you one for our library, ready to grow, experiment with, or add to your collection. That's right. Culture for culture. You help expand the library, and you get something amazing in return. The goal? To preserve fungal diversity, to give people access to new genetics, and maybe, just maybe, to discover something truly groundbreaking. So if you've got an interesting mushroom, a rare find, or a strain that deserves a place in the archives, send it in. Let's build something incredible together. The Mycologium, preserving fungal biodiversity, one culture at a time. Want to learn more? Hit us up, shoot us a message, and let's keep spawning culture, y'all.
Welcome back. Nerd! Nerd alert! What's up, nerd? Well, what is up with you guys? Anybody got anything new going on? Anything interesting that they want to share with the class? How was everybody's summer break? Our school just started up for the kids. But, I mean, we got... Samantha and I have been hitting the lake pretty heavy in the evenings. Man, that has been the best, like, thing ever for the brain pan. And we have a lot of little projects going on, like I was talking about the plant tissue culture and stuff. So I mean, we got a lot of things that are going on that are really cool. Hold on one sec. Okay. Okay, so it's hard for me to like pin it all down, but the mixture that I'm getting into right now of the plant tissue culture, the mushrooms, and with the Mycologium, like, okay, we're getting all these wild strains of fungus in, right? Have been for years. They then had, we had the plant tissue culture stuff, and I ordered a bunch of plants in from other labs, and there's this stuff called PPM, plant preservative media mixture. Anyways, the PPM is a biocide, right? So it's like an antibiotic, in that it is made to really kill fungal and bacterial cells. The plants can tolerate a higher amount of it, so a lot of people add that in their laboratories. And it's pissing me off because in the mushrooms, I don't use antibiotics, right? So with the plants, I don't want to use antibiotics either. I unless I'm maybe I can see it if I'm trying to clean up a culture, but I really just don't like it. The antibiotic mixtures, I feel like they hide mistakes, and I've seen that with the plants. I ordered from one company called Aquatic Zen, and I ordered a bunch of aquarium plants to do the plant tissue culture with, and every single one of them contaminated. And they didn't contaminate in, like, I was like, oh, you know, at first you sit there and you think about, like, maybe it was me, right? Like, I'm going to assume it was me because I'm new to this. So, but you start looking at it, and it's like, it only contaminates around the inoculant. All of my test cups and plates are set aside with nothing. So it wasn't the cook, and it wasn't the agar. You know, so basically all of my quality control stuff points to the fact that it came in the culture. And I was like really mad at them at first because I was like, how dare they ship me stuff that's obviously contaminated. But then I was like, it didn't look contaminated when I received it either. Except some of there was mold growing around their cup lids, which I took pictures of. I've not even talked to them yet, so I don't even mean to like badmouth them or anything like that, because I've not even talked about them, so they've not even had the chance to make it right yet. But everything contaminated, and instead of getting really mad about it, I was just trying to think like why would it be this way? And the best that I was able to come up with is that they're probably using PPM, and they're taking material and they're putting it in that mixture with the PPM, and it doesn't allow the bacteria and the mold to grow. But the mold and the bacteria can still be there if it's not in contact with the biocide. Like it could be growing on the plant stems, you know. It could still be there and just be difficult. So like right now, I have some dwarf hairgrass. All of it is contaminated, but the dwarf hairgrass is growing through the agar, underneath the agar, and then multiplying, like sending off shoots, right? Shoot tips. So I'm going to be able to go flip that agar upside down, and I'll be able to cut from the bottom a chunk of that material and get it onto a plate, and it should be enough, like because it's grown through the agar. I should be able to harvest it without harvesting bacteria with it. But it makes me think that a lot of these labs are using this ppm, and so you think that you're buying virus and bacteria and mold-free material, but you're not actually. You're just buying it where it's not visible. But because you're going to put it in a fish tank, you're going to grab it, open it, wash all the agar or gel and gum or whatever the media off the roots, and then you're going to put it in your fish tank. And so they're not really counting on people knowing about it. And it's probably why they tell you to wash. Because I was like, why do you have to wash it off? Like, you could put agar in a fish tank. It wouldn't hurt anything. It's an alginate. But if they have ppm in there, it might hurt your nitrifying bacteria or anything like that. So it's been a little disappointing ordering from these plant tissue culture labs, thinking that they know, that they're producing. I'm not saying that they're doing it on purpose. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it may be hiding that technique. And aquatic zen, I think, is fairly new on the market. But I don't know. It was just a little surprising to me how it was done. So, Michael Nerd said, had a job interview today as a microbiologist at the cannabis testing lab. Went real good. Hey, man, congratulations. I had another buddy that had an interview today, and then he and I were talking, and while we were talking, he got a phone call, and they gave him the job. So that's really cool. Also with a cannabis company, which I think is interesting. Very interesting. But it's congratulations is what I'm saying. I hope it goes really well. I hope you get the job if you're wanting the job. It's a neat thing. I would love to be a microbiologist somewhere. I don't have a degree, so I doubt that I could ever go somewhere and be a microbiologist. Well, I don't know. I've had a couple of offers that would take me on experience alone. If it was on the lids and not in the cups, then you're probably right about the ppm. That's what I'm thinking. It was on, and not even on the interior side of the lid. They had wrapped it in cling wrap. I also don't like the cling wrap. I prefer parafilm. I know parafilm's a little bit more finicky, but I prefer it. I don't tend to like it, but it was those little ketchup cup looking things, right? And on the interior lid, all the way around where they had wrapped it, there was mold when I opened it, just all underneath that, between the cling wrap and the edge of the lid. So there was no way to open the thing, and it looked like the mold had grown through around the edges. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've still got, I poured 60 plates from that one batch, that one autoclave bat run, and all of them that are still sitting there blank, the ones that weren't used, are all clean. All the plant tissue culture cups that were poured that day are clean. All of the plant tissue culture cups that I did where I did my own material, where I washed and sanitized the outside, then I planted that, all of those are bacteria and mold free, and only the ones that I did from their material is moldy or bacterial. Your pre-made message was loud, but you're not so loud on whatever mic you're on. Sorry if you had already talked about this. Oh, really? That's interesting. It's supposed to auto balance my audio. But yeah, it is really loud. Like I've tried to turn that down. I can't turn that down manually that I can figure out how. Let's see. Yeah, there's not a way I can do that. They don't even give me an option. Yeah, I don't see how to do it. I'm sorry, man. There's not a lot of control. I'll try to work on it and see if there's a way that I can control it later. As far as my mic, maybe it's because when I came back, how about that? Is that a little bit better? Were the contaminants the same as the ones you saw on the lids? Some of them, but the problem was that the ones that were on the lids had already sporulated, so they were dark greens, dark blues, bright greens, that kind of thing. And a lot of the ones I saw mycelium growing on completely all over the agar around it, and I didn't wait for it to sporulate a lot of it. It was just so overgrown, the inoculum, that I knew that it was a lost cause, so I just didn't do it. But, hey baby. Any experience with shipping with the APO, Army Post Office? I've not tried that I know of. I mean, except when back in the day, which it wasn't the Army Post Office. That was the Navy. But, yeah, I mean, I just mailed it like a typical letter and had letters typically mailed to me like typically. Like in typical, I don't know. Have we ever shipped anything Army Post Office? Or through an Army Post Office? I was thinking that for some reason we had a base exchange that we had to ship to one time. Yeah, Samantha said she doesn't remember. Sorry, Chrissy, not that I know
All
of.
the numbers and names are beginning to blend in.
She said all the numbers and names are starting to blend together. Yeah, I mean, that is the problem. Like, I get on here and I talk to people, and people think I know them. And I do know some people, but there are so many of you, and it is so hard for me to keep up with who is who at all times, that if I don't externalize that knowledge in some other accessible way, then, basically my phone calendar has become another layer of consciousness, because I can't keep up with everything.
And compound that over the years
Yeah.
we've been in business.
Yeah, and then you compound that over the years that we've been in business. So, yeah, I haven't tried the APO, but I have an order. I am shipping to Italy through an APO. Have we had any problems shipping to Italy? I was saying that we had an issue with Italy one time.
Let me log into our shipping platform and see.
Well, if she doesn't remember, I'm not going to listen to anything if you have to look it up. I don't know anything about it. I was thinking that Italy wasn't too bad. Germany was bad there for a while, but Germany wasn't bad the last few times we tried. Great Britain's not been bad. Israel has been terrible, so we will not ship to Israel anymore.
They just burn everything we send.
They just burn everything we send. They just incinerate it. So we're not doing that anymore. Which we are looking to upgrade from a phytosanitary declaration to a phytosanitary certificate. So we've got some of that stuff going on in the background as well, and that'll get us a lot more. But we're going to do that for a total number of different species, not just mushrooms. But I don't have any. No, I've not shipped anything to the Army Post Office. But I don't see, like, that's one thing I will remember about being in the Marine Corps, was that the mail came. So that's one thing I think that they make sure happens. So you should be probably okay. Have you heard of tyndallization from the scientist Tyndall? I am familiar with tyndallization, absolutely. Most of the time I do a pre-soak for my grains, but I put in hot water to help endospores germinate so they're more easily eliminated in autoclave. Yeah, I've done that, but I don't do tyndallization, but I've done the hot water. Any time I've tried tyndallization, it's got a hit or miss rate. I don't like it. I'd rather, like, if you can do autoclave, I would do autoclave. Pasteurization works really, really well. Not necessarily for liquid cultures, but for a lot of different things. And back in the day, I used to just microwave my petri dishes. I used to microwave my petri dishes to sterilize the agar.
We haven't
Not the
had
best
any,
way, but
We haven't had any trouble shipping to Italy.
Samantha said we've not had any trouble shipping to Italy.
We have spent a total of $34,198 in shipping.
We have spent a total of $34,198.16 in shipping.
The average domestic is $8.38.
Our average domestic cost is $8.38, and average international is $24.48. All right,
We
cool.
completed 3,700.
Yeah, we've got almost 4,000 total shipments. And
Our highest percentage is in zone 4.
our highest percentage is in Zone 4, which is North Carolina. Really? We've shipped more to North Carolina than anywhere else?
That seems odd.
That does seem odd,
Because
but
right
look at it.
here-
162 shipments out of...
It says 272 are from California. That's our top state.
Oh, wait a minute. Our top state's California.
So zone 4 is.
Oh, that's not the zone. That's just number 4, North Carolina. Okay. So our top 5 states are California, Florida, Texas, North Carolina, and Washington. What's our top countries?
Our top countries.
Canada is number 1. No surprise there. United Kingdom is second. France, Australia, and then Mexico is number 5. I didn't think Mexico would be that high.
And this is all on the analytics.
That's all on our analytics. They can't see the screen.
Maybe.
It's too bright.
Maybe. There you go. But yeah.
But yeah, I think adding the warm water and to get things to germinate, the endospores, is a good way to go. It's why I always like the soak method more than I liked the no soak, no simmer. I don't like the simmer either. As much as I've used all of them, and it depends on what I'm trying to do. But the soak is my favorite. I'm down in Louisiana. I've got a grow room. I can't keep cool with my central AC system. Any tips for cooling down when the internal shop temps are 85? So what I normally suggest to people that are in Florida, Texas, etc., is to slow down your air. Stop trying to grow oysters through the summertime. Oysters are going to be a wintertime thing for you probably. Slow your air way down. Wow, the light is hitting the van and it is oh my gosh,
Blinding you?
it is blinding me.
So
So anyways, thank you. She's gonna get the curtain. Oh my gosh, it's not wintertime. Normally wintertime is when we have to deal with the sun hitting us right in the face. Anyways, slow your airflow down. Grow high CO2 tolerant species. Allow your CO2 levels to come up. So things like enoki, shiitake, lion's mane, all 3 of those are higher CO2 tolerant. And you can slow your airflow down, your air exchange, which is going to make your air conditioning more effective. Another thing that you can do is outside your grow room, you can build a 2x4 structure, put up some insulated board, and then pop a window unit right there in it. And if it's out in your, like our warehouse, we've got some window units out there, and it's just hot air going out into the warehouse. The warehouse is already hot, so the warehouse is like 15 degrees hotter than outside. So I do not care that it is cooling that space and generating hot air indoors, as long as it's not, it's not generating the hot air in the shop or in the offices, in my control space. Scotland, we've shipped to Scotland a couple times at least. We actually just shipped to someone who's got a grow operation. I think they said it was, I can't remember. I think it was the Thames.
we shipped to the Isle of Skye.
We shipped to the Isle of Skye. Shipped to the Isle of Man. We have shipped to.
Quite a few small little UK spots.
Yeah, we've shipped quite a bit of the UK. So, grow room is a 13 by 15 by 15 insulated. So if you're just ripping air through that, insulation's not going to matter. It's just not going to really help that much. I mean, it will a little bit, unless you get an HRV. So this is the other side of this, is that if you want to keep the air flowing the way it is, you're going to need some sort of heat recovery system or a chiller. Chillers are going to be more expensive to run. Ben has been working on some HRVs, but he actually can't sell them right now until some things are figured out in the business side of things. So Ben can't do that. But the HRV that Ben is working on, I know one day when it gets released, it's going to absolutely change mushroom growing for people, because people that are growing in cold climates or hot climates, it's going to save them thousands of dollars a year. So hopefully that'll happen. But you can build your own heat recovery ventilation system. Again, that's HRV. Ben Dooling, I think, has got a really good video on it. That's sporadic.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I just don't know where that video is published anymore. Is it on our Discord and that's it? might be a good chance to support us on Patreon. And
I
get
would
that.
check out his Instagram.
I would check out his Instagram to make sure. Yeah.
And even if you can't find that,
You might even be able to hire him for a consult on how to build one. He built a really nice one. So, getting ready to try sterilizing using the pre-poured agar method in the PP dishes with the screw-down lid. Trying to reduce plastic waste and cost. I love them. They're fidgety. I don't use them in my everyday production. I just use them for small batch trials. So if I just want to make 2 or 3 dishes or something. But I do think that they're a great way to go. I've even seen people modify them by drilling a hole in them and putting a self-healing injector port in there. And then, they've got agar in there and they're able to just put LC in there or even do a needle biopsy from the agar and into a liquid culture. It's pretty cool looking. I don't really know that you need to do that because, you could probably just do a steel air box, but I like the screw down lids for sure. Good luck with them. Like I said, they can be a bit annoying, a little fidgety, but they are a good tech, I think, and a good solution for many, many things. I can't remember who inspired me to do that. Chrissy said, "Great job, guys! 3,000 orders." Well, it's actually closer to 4,000. I rounded up. It's a little below 4,000, but it's above. It's like above 36, 37, whatever. So, but thank you very much, Christy. I really appreciate that. I'm really proud of that. That's it, and that's been since we've been using this program. But when we were using the other shipping program, that doesn't count what we were doing with the other shipping program. So we're probably 6,000, 7,000 orders total, which is really cool.
and that is an export of names. That doesn't even really count the
She said that doesn't even
repetitive.
really count the repetitive. That's just that's single customers. That's not just orders. Okay. I think my apartment complex is going to have an issue with me constructing a 2x4 structure. I'm already amazed that they are as cool with me having my grow tent. Yeah, you might not be able to do that. You might be able to set up another grow tent and then put an AC in that. But there's also the standalone AC units. You're probably also not growing a huge amount. So hopefully your AC system is not going to get overwhelmed. And if you're growing certain species, like I said, the lion's mane, the shiitake, the enoki. Enoki's grown in high CO2 on purpose. It's not just a high CO2 tolerant. They grow it in high CO2 on purpose to get those tall, long, little tiny stems. And that's how they do that. So that's one of the best mushrooms. I know it's weird because they love cold weather. So people are like, oh, I should only grow this in the wintertime. But I know people in Florida that are running enoki farms because they can literally build like a walk-in, like I've got here, and grow enoki in it with almost no air exchange whatsoever. And so it's insulated. The AC, my AC barely runs in my walk-in for the cordyceps room. So, thanks. I'll look into the HRV. Yeah, man. Again, the easiest usage is probably going to be to switch to something like enoki, or again shiitake, oysters. I would probably go enoki before shiitake, but yeah, I mean it's mainly because you still get a pretty quick turnaround time. But if you got to do oysters, like if that is just a thing, then yeah, you're going to need like something like a heat recovery, or you're just going to be brute forcing air conditioning, and they're going to want to charge you a lot to install a big AC system. I remember Josiah when he was building out his op. He had a AC guy come in, HVAC guy, explained what he wanted. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to build this, blah 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 blah," and then it was basically like it would have taken up all the money of his loan. Like he would have paid the entire big loan that he had to build this warehouse out to just do the AC system the way they wanted. So, I mean, HVAC is expensive. It's expensive stuff. Zero says, at Parker Prepper 95, in my shop right now, I just got an AC infinity cooler for the tent. It's $69 in the tent right now. It has a probe that goes in the tent, ducting, etc. Pretty nice AC for the tents. So there you go. That might be a good solution for you guys. Again, my thing is in the summertime, I learned that I either needed to grow with the seasons, so I would grow certain things, or we would shut down for the hottest month or two, or we would go to a cold weather one that we could just grow in the walk-in. And you've got beach mushrooms, so beach mushrooms will grow pretty well like that with low air exchange. Enoki will. And again, the shiitake seems to do fairly well. A lot of people say you can't, but I've seen a lot of shiitake be grown in higher CO2 situations, and it looks great. Maybe not like crazy high, but and then lion's mane, it's not as air hungry as oysters. It's way air hungrier. It's more air hungry than enoki or shiitake or anything like that. So that, like, you've got oysters that are really air hungry, like lion's mane and her other hericiums, and then you have your shiitakes, and then you've got enoki, which is just not air hungry at all. So I've got some enoki in colonization. I can do, but 90% of my restaurants want oysters weekly, and I'm the only farm supplier here in northern Louisiana. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you got to explain to the restaurants that I just can't. Like, a lot of these restaurants are used to dealing with seasonal situations, and if you just tell them, "Hey guys, I have to switch to this, otherwise I can't sustain my business," here's enoki. But also, here's the other thing: if you're getting a few dollars more for enoki, which I would highly recommend you do, you know, you get $10 to $12 instead of $8 a pound. You don't have to grow as much to make the same amount of money. So, you know, you can sell the boxes in 5-pound increments, make them more expensive, let the chefs use them. And I will tell you that if you give out free samples to these chefs, a lot of them would be happy to switch from oysters to enoki. So, enoki to me is the superior eating mushroom. And shiitake. Shiitake is one of my favorite eating. It's just not my favorite to grow. Enoki has all of the advantages of oysters, except for the fact that it likes cooler temperatures, and it takes about twice as long as oysters to grow. But compared to shiitake, which takes 4-5 times as long as to grow as oysters, and is a little bit more finicky in colonization towards temperature changes, all that kind of stuff, it seems to me that enoki is the clear, you know, kind of winner there. Plus, I was getting $1 or $2 more per pound for the enoki, but shiitake chefs really wanted those at about the oyster prices. So, what's up, Jacob Tucker? Hey guys, what's the best fresh air exchange and humidity setup for a Martha tent? 85 inches tall, 29 inches wide, 19 inches deep. So what you do is you take your math there. So I would just let's math it a little bit to get your cubic feet. So you're talking 85 times 29 is 2465, and then what, you times that by 19. Am I doing that right?
Wait, what?
For cubic footage, it's just the three numbers. Like, it's one number times the other, right? Oh my gosh, I feel like a dunce now. And if you divide that by 12, 3,900. No, okay, I definitely did that wrong. What did I do wrong? I definitely did something wrong. Okay, 85 times 29, 2046 times 19. That's not right. That's not right. Hold on. Give me a second.
Can't you multiply width by length and that gives you the interior?
What's that, baby?
Thought you multiplied length by width and that gave you the interior of the room?
You just oh, wait a minute.
'Cause you're not
I
doing
think
perimeter.
I think I'm doing it in pieces, and that's the problem. Convert inches to feet. Well, we can just do that at the end, though, right? So if I take my cubic, so you have 85 times 29 times 19, 46,000 divided by 12. That's 3,902. So I guess that's like 3,903 basically.
So take the length, width, and height in feet, then multiply them together.
Yep.
And then I'll calculate.
Yeah, the length, width, and height. Yep. So I did cubic inches. So like 89 would be
Are we talking about flooring here?
7.4. 7.4 times 2.4. So 1.58 times 7.4 times 2.4 is 2812. Okay, wow, it's interesting. I hate math sometimes. I'm just so bad at math. I have to
There's
have a
a bit more
calculator.
to this though. Like if you're doing the full amount, like if you're pouring a thick slab of concrete or something like that,
Uh-huh.
or you're looking at the height on your door frames, you have.
I mean, I know why it's important. I just wish I didn't have a mathematical learning disability. Okay. So, Jacob, here's the thing. If you're looking at 28 cubic feet for the grow tent, you're going to want to exchange that every 5 minutes or so for oysters. So, you'll want a fan with a CFM cubic feet per minute of, what did I say that was? 28. And you want that every 2.5 minutes. 28. Yeah. 24. 4 times. So is that 672? Oh no, that's not 672 cubic feet per minute. Oh my gosh, what am I thinking? 28. That's like 11 cubic feet per minute. It's not going to be hard to find a fan that'll do that. Unless I've just done like completely wrong. I have a hard time with math, guys. I have to sit down and do it on paper. It is. Since we got me in special ed back in the day, I had a math class, a rudimentary math class I had to take forever. Thanks for the info. I'll try some out and give some samples after the first fruit. I've been working on shiitake, but have issues in getting a full colonization. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Shiitake takes a little bit more skill. It likes a really stable environment. If you can't provide a really stable environment, you probably shouldn't be doing shiitake anyways. I mean, shiitake is just not the best money. I mean, it's good. Like, you can make money. I'm not saying you can't. But harvest is more labor intensive. Growing is more labor intensive. It needs a more stable system. It's more temperature sensitive. It's just one of those things. You're not going to be able to sell it much more than oysters. So unless you can't sell oysters or enoki or something like that, I wouldn't switch to a shiitake. Unless you just enjoy growing it. And then in which case I would do it because you enjoy it. I love eating shiitake. I'm probably going to start making like just 5 to 10 shiitake blocks a week just for us to have. But I'm just going to put them in the walk-in where it's a nice stable temperature, and I'm just not going to produce that much of them because I don't need to. But I really, just going to work on it from there. Convert inches to feet. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Yeah, that made it easier. I mean, if you have 28 cubic feet per minute, 28 cubic feet, and you need to do that once every 2.5 minutes, and you would take 28 divided by 2.5, that's 11, right? 28 divided by 2.5 is 11.2. Yeah, so 11 cubic feet per minute is what you're going to be working with. I'd have one block produce 2 pounds of nice sized ones, then one block of the same batch make 2 to 3 mushrooms. Oh, the shiitake. Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, it means that you don't have your system figured out yet. Shiitake likes a nice streamlined system. Yeah, I started with shiitake outdoor on logs 4 years ago, and they got into the indoor farming last year. Figured out to give them a try, but planning to stick to logs seasonally outdoor. Yeah, that's the way I always did shiitake, and it always worked really, really well for me. I mean, I still grow shiitake. I can grow some really nice shiitake. I can actually get shiitake to fruit in about 6 weeks with a fairly decent flush size. It's still not the full flush if you wait, but I can at least get it to produce pretty quick. Usually it's a moisture content and nutrition thing, so but you can get them to fruit pretty quickly. Sorry. Oh, you woke her up. Splotch. Yeah, what should we do? Spin. Oh. She's been done with me since the day she was born. That kitty cat. Oh man, guys. So, doctor's orders. I've changed my workout. I'm starting to develop some insulin resistance, apparently, and of course, that's, I'm getting older, so it's not uncommon to do that. And my triglycerides are getting a little high and all that kind of stuff. So, doctor told me, meow. Doctor was talking to me like, eat more mushrooms. I was like, okay, I'll start eating more mushrooms. I have not been good about eating mushrooms every week like I used to, and I'll eat them 3 or 4 times going forward. And it'd be nice. I got a nice walk some years back, and I've started using it regularly. So I'm just thinking I'm going to start doing a lot more mushroom mixtures and do some mushroom bowls. But I'm supposed to stick away from a lot of my refined carbohydrates, simple sugars, things like that to help bring my triglycerides down. Start cutting back on the red meat, more on the chicken and the fish, right? The things we all know we're supposed to be doing. Lots of vegetables, beans, oats, that kind of stuff. But one of the things I'm really excited about is the doc prescribed heavy lifting, and that is so much better for me. I hate long grind sessions. I hate moderate weight. It's boring to me. But if I go in, I mean, one of the nice things about lifting heavy is you get to do it. You do it 15 times per, exercise, and you're like, cool, I moved 15 times, and I'm not done. Except things like, she did say, like, I'm not supposed to run, bike, do these things that are like long grind cardio, because that actually will apparently mess with some of my inflammatory stuff through the production of cortisol. But things like kettlebell snatches, farmer carries, things like that, I'm bringing back in. The whole point I say this is, it feels so good to be lifting heavy again, and I'm just gonna go for the monster build. And is that right, Plum? So you had insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and heart issues. I went on carnivore for a couple of months and fixed all those issues. It was all caused by my excess weight. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too, is I got to get rid of this belly fat. I've been working out for the past year, and it started off real slow, because you guys remember I had that life-altering health crisis. But the belly fat's been slow to move. The legs and shoulders and all that stuff's been building easily. But it was a slow build-up, and now I'm finally at the point where I feel like I can lift heavy. But it has made me so freaking sleepy, and I have never been this hungry in my entire life. Like, I am so hungry all the time. And but I'm feeling it. Like, I'm feeling the muscles return already, and my body has always responded to heavy lifting and bursts of activity versus the long grind. And screw it, like, fuck it, I'll just never fit on a roller coaster or plane seat again. I'll have to get 2 of them, but not because I'm fat, but because I'll have the doorbuster build again. But I'm gonna go back to my strongman lifts and stuff, and it just feels so good. But I feel like I've never been this sleepy. I'm sleepy now. I could go take the biggest nap, and I have the hunger. Oh my gosh, I am ravenous all the time. I am so freaking ravenous. But it's interesting, because I could, when you went carnivore, Plum, how old were you? And when you did, are you talking like, when you eat carnivore, did you eat mushrooms with it? Or, because a lot of people I know don't, like, mushrooms are almost like, you get your vitamins and minerals from the mushrooms, and they're kind of like meat, but they're kind of like vegetables, that kind of thing. And then, did you eat red meat while you were on carnivore? Did you eat a lot of beef and things like that, or did you stick away from some of that stuff? So, I will say the most concerning thing I had on my blood work was probably the triglycerides. The insulin resistance was not very high; it was very borderline, but the triglycerides were getting up there. Or no, wait, I guess that is part of the insulin resistance, isn't it? Is the triglyceride count? My LDL had actually gone up, which is crazy, because I back in the day, I never had a problem with my HDL and my LDL. My HDL was always high, and my LDL was always crazy low. But these days, I think it's because I've not been lifting heavy. Back then, I was lifting heavy, and all that muscle acts like, what is it, a glycogen sink, and you know, you're apparently lifting heavy like that and having plenty of muscle helps to reverse your LDL cholesterol levels and increase your HDL. So, you know, one of those things that I'm really excited to get back into, but mainly just because I feel good this way. Like, I feel best when I eat pretty meat heavy and pretty low carbohydrate, very moderate to low carbohydrates, and then very lift ahead. Just like pick it up, put it down on the heavy stuff, and that's been my favorite so far. So still going kayaking and things, but just not trying to go super crazy with it. For hunger, get green beans, snap peas, carrots, stuff like that. Stuff you can chew on, get delicious gum. For cardio, just take walks, bike rides, cruise around, enjoy the air. Yeah, the bike. I love the bike. The bike that's probably where I feel. Maybe the kayak I feel a little freer, but the bike is definitely like walking just feels so boring, whereas biking feels exciting a lot of times. So now cordyceps have been really good. I will admit, cordyceps have been really nice. I haven't been taking them the past 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm thinking about bringing them back in particular on the right before weightlifting. 30 minutes or so before weightlifting. Gonna get me probably. I like to eat oatmeal beforehand. That's actually one of the good things I picked up from Armando. But about 30-40 minutes before I lift, I'll eat a bowl of oatmeal. And then I'm thinking about just throwing some cordyceps tea, like cordyceps mint tea in there. Changing habits is hard. Fail forward. Mess up, just get back on track. You only fail if you don't get back on track. Just keep getting on the horse and eventually things come at. Yeah, that's actually one of the nice things, at least. I decided a while back to learn how to change habits. And I can't always change my habits super easy necessarily, but I am pretty decent at changing them at this point. And it makes life a lot easier because I can adapt to a lot of things. And that has been one of the hardest though, is the trying to lift the moderate, longer sessions, the weightlifting sessions. I don't like that. I've never liked that. I have always hated grind. Grind is the worst. I'll 75 pounds and use these methods to quit smoking. The key is to just relentlessly keep trying, no matter how many times you mess up. Suddenly you're different. I hear that for sure. Try Celtic salt for calming the hunger, just a pinch in your drinking water. You think so? Salt and water would help? I haven't. So I get bad cramps a lot, especially when summertime comes on, and the doc said it was because I already eat a low sodium diet. I always have. I grew up with my gramps. And because of that, I don't like to put a lot of salt in my food or anything. And so the doctor literally told me to start eating more salt. And I was like, how often do you get to say that? And she's like, not very often. Well, most of the time with Americans, I'm telling them to take the salt back. So she also said something seeds. Is it chia seeds that get kind of gelatinous? But she was talking about blending them up and throwing them in my shake and stuff. I'll have to try that. But she was talking about like fiber and stuff. Weird question. Do you think you could use chitinase from fungi to break down the cell walls of other fungi? You absolutely can. I saw a slime mold guy using it and applying it to a surface to prevent fungi from growing. In fact, you could order chitinase. Okay, so if you want to do protoplast fusion, chitinase is the best way to do it. I've been reading up on this a lot. There have been a lot of new methods coming out. If you want to dissolve the cell walls of 2 different fungi and then try to smash the DNA together to get them to horizontally transfer, get chitinase to do it. Get chitinase and add it to liquid culture of the 2, and then try to mix them after you've stripped the cell walls. You're going to have to come up with a protocol probably, but you absolutely could do it. That is one of my I was so excited when I read that, and chitinase is not that expensive. Also, psyllium husk works well. It fills up your belly. It also does really well to lower your cholesterol. 2 tablespoons a day. Mine is effective as a statin for me. That's interesting. I'll have to tell my dad about that because I think he was on a medication that like split the cholesterol instead of a regular statin, and they had told him like, hey, you can take red yeast or ice extract, I think, to get a similar effect. But he had a sensitivity to it, so it's one of those things where we had to. He's like, well, now I'm just going to have the medication, basically, because he had that reaction. Cordyceps are my favorite supplement in the morning with an animal pack. What's an animal pack? Sounds like an energy drink or something. Animal pack. High protein supplements. Chemistry and microbiology laboratories. Oregon blend grass-fed bovine protein. I might have to take some of that or try it. And yeah, cordyceps are amazing. I'm about to try the militaris out on some of these black soldier fly larvae we're growing. I want to try a few different things. I'm going to try injecting the live larva, but mainly I'm just going to freeze them and try to grow on the dead, sterilized dead material. So, of the black soldier fly larva biomass. I think that's going to be the kinder way than just injecting live. I will say, it made me feel really bad. One time I put mealworms in a plantar plant container and just sprayed them down with Cordyceps militaris, and they freaked the F out. They were crazy. I felt so bad because I was like, I think they realized. I think there was something that caused them to have that reaction. It was not just contact with water. So, I think you said that you can't autoclave it and have to apply after sterilization kind of some antibiotics. On chitinase, what you would need to do is use a syringe filter. And you would need to use, so they make different materials like PTFE is the ones that we typically use when we're doing the filters for the jar lids. But you have different materials, some that are hydrophilic, hydrophobic, lipophilic, lipophobic. So you would just need to figure out which material you want, but you get them pre-sterilized in containers. I mean, you could probably sterilize them yourself, but you can buy them already pre-sterilized. And the trick a lot of times is to buy like an oversized filter, as big a filter round as you can. That's how we have to do the plant hormones. Plant hormones cannot be autoclaved. So your auxins and cytokines and things like that, they have to be mechanically sterilized, and that's done through a filter membrane. So plant tissue culture is actually really interesting, and it's a good skill set. I feel like I feel like a lot of people in mycology would benefit from getting a little bit into plant tissue culture. Because it teaches you how to you got to treat these hormones through a mechanical sterilization. The seed coats, you can't autoclave a seed, before you throw it in the plant tissue culture medium, the multiplication medium. So you're going to have to chemically sterilize the surface, right? So you're going to have to use, plus a surfactant typically to help the penetration of the sanitizing agent. So there's a lot of you don't just use the heat and the mechanical means, but you get to learn different aspects of sterilization that are really quite useful. And I think it's a good way to go. It will really boost your skill as a microbiologist. So, and it's so interesting to me that we're entering into an age where so much microbiology work is being done by people in garages and basements and apartments and wherever they can throw it up. It's been a very, very interesting thing. With the plant tissue culture stuff too, the biohacking. I'm really loving seeing this undercurrent and upwelling of bio-based activities in people's homes and little shops, and people are straight up running businesses out of their homes, growing biological material. It's fantastic. I just absolutely am in love with it. So, one moment. that looks like we have a storm coming in about 9 p.m. Maybe ish, perhaps. So that is what my phone was trying to say. I also don't like salt, but Celtic salt hydrates better, helps with cramps. Sometimes the munchies come from thirst, not from hunger. That's an interesting point, and I've been trying to drink a lot more water. Also, I will say that like shrugs, I'm starting to really enjoy shrugs again. So like these vinegar based, like it's like diluted vinegar. Kombucha used to be something I drank a lot back in the day, but nowadays, I mean, like just I've always craved vinegar my entire life. So like apple cider vinegars, I like the distilled vinegar. As a kid, I used to sneak through my grandparents' house and into the kitchen while they were asleep, and I would drink the vinegar out of that little vinegar bottle with the stopper. As a kid, I don't know why I snuck. I'm sure that they wouldn't, like Gramps would not have minded. He would have thought it was hilarious that I'd want to drink vinegar. But ever since I was a kid, I've always liked it. But I'm not a salt person. I don't like salt on my tomato slices. I don't like salt on my watermelon or apples or anything else that other people do. What I do like is tahini on cucumber. When we went to Mexico and that had that for the first time, I've been hooked ever since. When it's hot outside, oh my gosh, a cucumber that has been put in the fridge overnight or whatever, pulled out, sliced up, tahini sprinkled over it. It's just absolutely perfection. And I know there's some salt in that. But that's the stuff. Absolutely the stuff. Alright, guys. Hey, what's going on, Mafia? Welcome. Hello, everyone in Storm. Well, hello, as a member of everyone. Yeah, but...
I find it funny you got the cat in
You find it funny I got the cat? Yeah.
the car purposely do it.
I don't know, Collier... I don't think Collier did. I think your mom moved her to get over here to the printer. And then I think I don't know if she did that on purpose when she did it, or if she just left it on accident. And it's just happy.
They got a cat cam.
We got a cat cam going. Yeah. That's what I need to do. I just need to leave a live stream on and just to the fish or the cats or something. That way I get that sweet, sweet click money.
I mean, they've got like this live stream type thing.
Uh-huh.
Where,
They have a live
I
stream
forgot
type
where
thing.
it is, but it's at a dam somewhere.
It's at a dam?
And you literally press a button to open the gate to let the
You
fish
press the
in.
button to open the dam?
Yeah, like there's like this little fish gate
Uh-huh.
that they have, so the fish can go through.
That's hilarious.
But they have it closed. And they'll have a whole
So they have a dam that you can watch, and then a hole where you can open it up and let fish in and out. That's kind of funny.
And so they literally have an automatic system where it's just a bunch of people who come into the live stream. It's like, oh, there's fish here.
That's funny. Oh shoot. There's all kinds of things on the internet. Alright guys, give me one moment and we'll take a quick break with our sponsor and be right back.
Hey folks, welcome to another sponsorship for the Mushroom Cast. We're always talking about dialing in your grow setup, and when it comes to humidity, there's one name we trust, House of Hydro. These foggers are an absolute game changer for mushroom cultivation. House of Hydro's ultrasonic humidifiers put out an incredibly fine, cool mist. So fine, in fact, that mycelium can actually uptake it straight from the air. That means better hydration, better growth, happier mushrooms, and better yields. And let me tell you, these things are way easier to vent around your op than setting up full-on plumbing pressure systems. No pipes, no hassle, just perfect humidity right where you need it. And when you're working with the best, you want the best support. John at House of Hydro takes care of his customers better than anyone in the game. If you ever need help, they've got you covered. And because House of Hydro is sponsoring the Mushroom Cast, we've got a deal for you. Use code MOSSY at checkout and you'll get a full set worth of free replacement discs with your order. It's up to a $50 value. Get yourself a House of Hydro fogger. Your mushrooms will thank you. Keep spawning culture, y'all.
I need to rework on all of my sponsorship videos We've got so many ideas and so little time. Alrighty. Let's see. I hate autocorrect never works the way I need it to, and always works the opposite of how I need it to. Alright. Tahini on everything is the best, even on lemonade? Really? Yeah, alright, I'll try it. I've got lemonade and I've got tahini. Just sprinkle it across the top and drink it, or do you mix it in, or how do you do that? Because that sounds delightful. Well, shoot, guys, if you guys don't have a lot of questions or things you want to talk about today, then we'll probably end the stream at the 2-hour mark, which is, we've really been on for 2 hours? That's crazy. Doesn't feel like it. But we may shut it down at the 2-hour mark, and I may go do some fishing. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I want to go fishing, but you can get me for another hour if you start asking questions. So, and if not, like I said, I will go drop a line in the water. I'm planning on going trout fishing tomorrow. So if anybody's in the area and wants to go trout fishing, Mr. Denise, hopefully you're watching, we need to go. I'm going to be heading up. You might have to email me to find out where I'm going, but we're going to get some trout tomorrow. I'm about guaranteed 7 trout a person. So I want that. I'm supposed to eat all that fatty fish, and trout is an amazing fatty fish, even if it is farmed. So, oh man. Alright, so one more thing before we do anything. Have you ever noodled? I have not. I am not. I'm not a noodler. I'll be honest. I work a lot with water. Yesterday, I was. Everybody always makes a weird joke out of this, but I went and inspected a lady's pond yesterday. And I got down in that pond, and it was quite mucky. But, you know, when you get into that, you have to really reach in where you can't see, and you're feeling around, and you're looking for leaks and all this kind of stuff. And, man, the fish were eating me alive yesterday. And so you would think that I would be brave enough to noodle. But I have never noodled, and I don't plan to noodle. I know people that have. Samantha was used as bait as a kid, apparently, to noodle. I've never really done it, and I'm not as interested in doing it. I can catch catfish on a hook without sticking my hand in a potential snapping turtle's mouth. So, not that it really matters, I guess. I walk around in sandals in the water, so. But we get some big snapper turtles here. So I'm not really, like, looking to try it. Even though I know it's supposed to be fairly safe. Uh-oh. There we go. I just had to... Oh, well, there we go. I don't know. The stream froze for a second and then it stopped. I've done it. I'll never do it again. I'm not a fan of sticking my hands and feet in holes in the underwater. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly like I'm not against it. Like I know I could learn it, and I know I could be okay with it. But I definitely would not be just noodling. That's not my thing. It's just not my idea. Now, I will say, a buddy of mine from the fish groups has started micro fishing. It is the littlest, teeniest, tiny hooks you have ever seen. And you're literally fishing for minnows. And you're the hooks are so small, I can't bait them with my fingers. You have to take it and drag it across the bait to get like your little bread dough or whatever on the hooks. But it catches a lot of minnows. What do you use to clean your grow area? Bleach, primarily. Bleach and soap, like dish soap. We do, typically it's a mixture Samantha makes is like a 5-gallon bucket of warm water. She uses it as a 5% bleach solution and like a few drops of a surfactant, like I think just Dawn dish detergent's what she uses most of the time. Either that or the Walmart brand, or I think one time we bought a big bulk thing, like a big bulk 2.5-gallon container from U-line, but it took us forever to use all of it. But we just use bleach. And then as far as like the lab, we use isopropyl alcohol most of the time to sanitize an area. Occasionally I'll use bleach, but usually we'll just pour it on the grow room floor, or we spray bleach in the grow room on the shelves and stuff like that, and then we just rinse it off. So that's pretty much it, just simple bleach. I know people who've used neem oil to all these other things, thinking that a lot of this stuff is safer than bleach, but honestly, bleach is quite safe for the most part and very effective. So, I mean, it's effective enough that I can literally sanitize seeds and plant tissue and then plant it in these sterile culture cups, and I don't get any growth off of them. So, bleach is my primary cleaner, not surfactant, sanitizer. And a pressure washer. We use a pressure washer, like a low pressure washer. Do you spray your HEPA filters before turning them on? No, normally not. Sometimes I'll spray the lip a little bit. But primarily what we do is we turn the fans on, the HEPA filter, and then we just let them run for, like, I'll turn them on in here. And then we've got a shower, like a safety shower that we've built. I'll go take a shower and then put on some clean clothes that I brought with me. And then I'll come back in here and I'll do lab work. Oftentimes shirtless. Like I'll close the curtains to the windows here and just do the lab work shirtless. Because I'm freshly cleaned and laundered clothes or whatever. And so that's usually the way we do lab work, is just... I used to always do it first thing in the morning, but it's gotten to the point where my schedule, sometimes I just can't. Like, especially with plant tissue culture work, I prefer, like if I'm doing cups, I don't like to close the cups and then open them later because they have a tamper-proof tab, tamper-evident, tab on them. So when I open them up, I have to pop that. So what I do is I prefer to pour them, lay them out in front of the hoods, let them cool, and then plant them that same evening. And that makes it a lot easier if I'm able to take a shower here, which we were not able to do until I built the shower. So your lab coat is your birthday suit. I mean, back when we had it at the house, I would do lab work naked all the time. I'm not ashamed to say it. I enjoyed it. You turn on some music and you get naked and you just, free ball it while you're doing your lab work. I wouldn't mind spraying isopropyl, just whatever, and then just go rinse off real quick at the end of the session. It was an easy way to do it. I don't do that here because if someone shows up for, like, outside for the pond plants or whatever, either Samantha's going to have to open that door. This is how it's easy for me to throw a shirt on, or I'm going to have to open that door, and I might have to go out there to the plants and stuff, so, you don't do it naked no more. You're right. Yeah, if I was doing it at the house, I might still do it that way, but no, not anymore. Everything was easier when the farm and the house were in the same spot. That was a lot easier. Oh man. All right, guys. Well, it's an hour 56. I'm gonna play one more sponsorship video for our Dr. Solarians, and then I'll answer whatever questions are here when I get back, and then we'll end it, and I'll do some fishing today.
Introducing the future of mycology, Dr. Solarian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery. This isn't your average culture mix, it's a revolution in a packet, crafted for the dedicated cultivator seeking unparalleled growth. Experience the visual alchemy of this masterful brew. As you mix 10 grams with 500 milliliters of water, watch the solution transform into a rich, amber spectacle, the hallmark of a nutrient-dense sanctuary for your burgeoning mycelium. This is where vibrant color meets vibrant life, setting our elixir apart from the ordinary clear liquid cultures. Prepare to be captivated. Mix 10 grams of Dr. Solarian's elixir with 500 milliliters of water. Add a stir bar for thorough integration and sterilize the blend at 15 psi for 45 minutes. Once cooled, Introduce your favorite culture into this perfectly prepared, nutrient-rich environment. Watch in awe as the elixir works its magic, unveiling a mycelial masterpiece before your eyes. Choose Dr. Silurian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery for a mycological adventure that's as visually enchanting as it is potent.
Welcome back. What's up, Hendrix? Keep spawning culture. I always appreciate when you come in and say that. It always reminds me to say it. Also to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for notifications on when we go live. We go live every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and are usually on from 1 to 3 hours, answering all your questions for free. But with that, guys, we're hitting the 2-hour mark, and like I said, I'm gonna go do some fishing, and we'll try that Celtic sea salt and some of that psyllium stuff, and we're gonna work on maybe even going. I don't know. We'll try see maybe if I need to do carnivore or something. But I appreciate you guys hanging. Thank you for making this a good stream. Wish me luck in the fishing. Keep spawning culture, y'all.
Freedom's your